Hello, my name is Stuart Barker. I am the ISO 27001 Ninja, and in this tutorial video today we are going to look at ISO 27001 clause 7.4 communication. We're going to take a deep dive into what that can look like, how you can satisfy that clause for maximum success when it comes to your ISO 27001 certification, give you some pointers and some top tips. But as always, we're going to start by the definition. We're going to understand what the requirement is, then I'm going to show you how you can meet that. I'm going to start with a little bit of reading. Let's give you that definition. So, 27001 clause 7.4 communication. The organization shall determine the need for internal and external communications relevant to the information security management system, including on what to communicate, when to communicate, with whom to communicate, and how to communicate. Now, the 2022 update of the standard actually removed a couple of pieces in here. What I'm going to show you now is how I would go about satisfying this particular clause. The way that I would go about satisfying this clause is to create my communication plan. Within my communication plan, you can see that what I am going to record is what message will we communicate, when will we communicate it, how will we communicate it, who will communicate it, who will they communicate it to, did they communicate it, and what is the evidence that that communication took place. So there is a little bit above and beyond the requirement of the standard, because the standard took a couple of those elements out, but for me each one of those elements makes absolute sense and there is no reason to remove it, and it's just going to provide you with benefit and ease when it comes to managing this particular process. So if you are going to do this yourself, you can copy this table or you can download this template from the High Table ISO 27001 template store. It is part of the ISO 27001 toolkit, but slow down the video, click the pause button, copy it, type it. It'll take you a long time, right? But that's an option for you. And then get yourself a communication table. When I provide you with the template, what I'm providing you with is examples of common communication. There are common communications that are going to happen as part of your project implementation and throughout the year, the annual cycle of your information security management system. What you need to do is you need to think about what that communication is going to look like, and then you need to start to record what those communications are and get them planned in. Let me give you some examples. Evidences and examples of communication include information security overview training, training people, training the management team, especially when you're doing an implementation in the early stages. You're going to do a lot of communication around what it is, why the organization is going for it, what the benefits are. So make sure you keep a record of all of those, right? They're absolutely fantastic when it comes to your audit. You're going to give the management review team training, right? So there is going to be communication on what their role is, about how it operates, what they're going to be doing. So make sure you have a record of that. You're going to be providing training on the ISO 27001 framework, whether you're showing people one of my videos, whether you're running a session, whether you have a consultant that's doing it for you. People are going to be communicated to on the framework. We're going to communicate a couple of points regularly throughout the year. We're going to communicate to people where policies are. So we're going to communicate to people, usually via email or in stand-up meetings, verbally. We're going to say where our policies are and how people access them. We're going to communicate to people how they raise an incident. If something goes wrong, what is the process? What is the step? Email this email address, telephone this number, do this step. But we're going to communicate that to people in very simple terms. We're going to communicate to people who is ultimately responsible in our organization for information security. Yes, everybody is responsible. Yes, everybody is accountable. But if you had a problem and you wanted to raise something, who is the go-to person? What is the go-to role? We're going to communicate that. Those are pieces of information we're going to communicate regularly throughout the year, and we're going to keep evidences of that. What we're also potentially going to do is we're going to communicate how to take a UCAS or an accredited audit. We're going to communicate to people what it is that's going to happen as part of that audit process and how they should communicate within that process. We're going to communicate to people then things that are technically training. At this point, what we're going to do is we are going to call out to and rely on our information security training tool. So yes, we have our communication plan, but also we have communication as in training built into our training tool and our training technology, and we can show that. We can show what the plan is for when our annual information security training is going to take place, when our annual data protection training is going to take place. If we are a remote business and we've chosen a remote working module, when that's going to land. If phishing is something that is prevalent and that we are subject to, we may have phishing training, phishing simulation, phishing communication built into our training tool. That is going to be included within there as well. So what you can see is we're going to build up our plan throughout the year for the year ahead, and as we go through the year, we're going to populate that. You will see within the communication plan, we put in there our management review team meetings. We forward plan our management review team meetings. One of their purposes is communication. Yes, it is an oversight body, but it is a body that is communicated to, that communicates out and communicates up. So what we want is the schedule of those management review meetings and when those management review meetings are in. As we go throughout the year, as I say, populate the register, keep the register up to date, keep your version control up to date, keep your evidences of those communications. Evidences could be screenshots of meeting invites, or copies of meeting invites, or minutes of meetings, or videos, or video recordings of Teams meetings and Google Meets. Whatever it is that is the evidence that you did that communication, be sure that you can lay your hands on that and present that to an auditor come the audit, and you are going to be absolutely golden. So that is ISO 27001 and communication, what it is and how you're going to tackle it. My name is Stuart Barker. I am the ISO 27001 Ninja, and until the next video, peace out.